Hey, welcome back to an introduction to mindfulness and meditation. So, again, another teaching, not a meditation, but a teaching. So, today's, I love what's in today's content because I think the practicality of this for modern life is really important. And we're going to look at some really foundational, almost they're called attitudes or ways to show up that cultivate natural mindfulness in our life. So this is really helpful to understand these attitudes really help us just live more mindfully naturally. So we're not focusing on trying to meditate or ground ourselves in. We're focusing on a way to show up that will actually allow us to naturally be more mindful. So we're going to explore a few of these, and some of them you'll know, but when we can just look at the moment and see how we're showing up in the moment, what the moment's really needed, and rather than trying to get all familiar with a meditation or a mindfulness practice, is just cultivate, or it's almost an energy and an attitude. So the first really, the most important, and I have this in my mindful leadership course, but one of the key attitudes of mindfulness and relationship-based mindfulness is curiosity. It's just to be really curious. When we're curious, we're present because we're wanting to explore what's happening. You look at a child, in nature, picking up flowers and just, again, looking at them, explore and feel the flower, touch it, smell it, and just really curious about it as if it's the first time they've seen that flower. And when we can use that image within our relationships of when someone's talking to us or when there's a problem, or when we've got a relationship to ourselves, but to show up with real curiosity and go, okay, that's interesting. Tell me more. Let's explore that together. Let's really pick it apart. It allows us to be naturally present, and the curiosity is so important because it builds connection. Especially in relationships, when you're with someone and you're really curious about wanting to know more about them or the project or what they've done today, they feel safer, they feel more heard, seen and valued. And that's really important when we can do that, as opposed to be disconnected from the moment. The second attitude, which I really love, is just kindness. And kindness not just as a nice thing to do, but a practice to be intentionally kind. To do something kind, to pay it forward, to think of someone and a gesture of kindness, because when we're in that energy of kindness, that attitude of kindness, we're present, we're there's care. So, it's here, but generally actually practicing kindness, creating the space and time to practice to be kind. And it's a practice. No different to meditation, no different to working out. When we practice kindness more often, we naturally want to become kinder. And that includes kindness to ourselves. The third one is the want to be grateful. So practicing gratitude. Gratitude journals, gratitude before a meeting, gratitude for someone that's done something. Just gratitude naturally is this thank you, this appreciation of what's happened or of someone or of a moment, and thousands and thousands of years there's been ceremonies on gratitude, on rituals, on welcoming and being grateful for the seasons, and again connecting us to the moment. And often it's one of the key triggers or key things that we realize is when we're really disconnected, when we're really busy and our mind's really busy. I can only say busy, when we're really out there and not in the moment. But we often don't see the little things to be grateful for. Your partner or something will happen that was quite good, that was awesome, that, if you had the space and you had the opportunity, you'd show gratitude, but you don't. You just almost treat it as if that was an expectation. So gratitude's a really nice one. The attitude of acceptance, and acceptance has been used a lot in this course, but practicing acceptance. There's a thank you meditation. It's a thank you of accepting what is, and just learning to really sit back and practice acceptance. to show that attitude of okay, that's what it is. Of this equanimity, this is just how it is. Accepting, not attaching and not averting, not pushing away, but allowing in, and then dealing with it from acceptance, from true acceptance, which can often sometimes be, forgiveness, forgiving. The practice of non-judging, huge in leadership, of really, working with people to be in a moment, a relationship, a moment in time, and write non-judging at the top of the piece of paper, and to really practice hard and bring that attitude of non-judging, which often can connect to curiosity, but to not judge, just be with, just listen, just observe, and allow that person to talk, or allow that moment to unfold how it needs to unfold it, and not cast a projection or a judgment on it, is a really helpful practice. The next one we talk about is non-striving, and not needing to strive. And this is really it's a counterbalance to modern culture, because modern culture is all about striving. But often we strive, and we feel like we need to strive and get somewhere to be someone. And that's not saying we don't want to work hard and we don't want to have the discipline to give everything to the moment, but to not project the moment how it needs to be, and not strive for that. So, and that just allows the moment, the effort, the process to be good enough. Like, if you give everything you've got to it and you fall short today, it's enough. As long as the effort, the discipline, the concentration, because you're not going to get everything you want all the time. So that's really around, non-striving, and we start to look at that as the next one I really like is patience, and practicing patience, practicing to be patient, especially if you're a parent. It's a key teaching that we can do of just sitting with our feelings and our wants to rush, to react, to be fast, and to sit there. And our kids need space. Our relationships need space. Our life needs space. And we need to sometimes learn to be patient, to sit with, and just allow life to unfold, and not try to wrap it in a neat bow every time, but we just be patient with it. Just let things manifest, let things grow. Humor's a huge one that I've written, but bringing some humor, some fun, when we're laughing, when we're generally in moments of joy and rapture, we're present. We're actually in the moment, because we've taken in the totality of just what happened, and we've seen it fully, and it's resonated with the feelings of laughter or humor. So, and in modern life, do we really laugh a lot? Are we laughing? And I think that's an important one. And the last one that we've got is just the beginner's mind, that real playfulness and beginner's mind to look at things as if it's the first time, regularly, and practicing that. And we've seen that in the informal mindfulness practices of having our tea, having a shower, things day to day that we could project and do with our eyes closed, with very little need, but using those basic tasks to be almost like a beginner, almost like a baby, to really bring that. And that training of doing that in easy times allows us to have more of a beginner's mind when things get tougher, and not to get impatient, not to project or revert, but to just learn, to be a learner, to have humility, and to just be with things as they are. So there's a couple of the the key attitudes we can bring, and the practice on the sheet today is really to explore those attitudes and look at 2 to 3 maximum, even less, maybe 1, of what attitude are you going to bring into the day. Are you going to try to be a lot more curious today? Do you feel that you need, what would help you today is patience. And for the next week is really looking at, and you can repeat the week, repeat the attitude. if you really feel like patience is something to work on, even for the next week, is looking at that as your attitude, your mindful attitude of being more patient with people. And then what we'll do in the course is looking at what were the behaviors, what were the environments in which you show patience, that you practice patience, and how did that make you feel? So I really hope you got a lot out of the mindful attitudes. It's a really important resource for me every day, and I'm hopeful that you can take these attitudes, pin them on your wall, and start to look at what's needed moment to moment and what attitude you could bring that cultivates the energy and the feeling of mindfulness within yourself, but also within other people. When you show curiosity or patience or a beginner's mind, you'll be surprised how that affects other people. So thanks for that. Looking forward to the next class, and take care.